What's up, everybody? Welcome to Talez from the Crib. I am your host, Dr. Savage, your homeboy horror. Listen, if true crime is your thing, go ahead and subscribe so you can stay clocked in where we unpack some things, alright? The reason why I've gotten into it because after I was watching during like the quarantine, I really got like reintroduced to all these like, unsolved mysteries, true crimes, and I was going back, list a lot of things. Then I got on YouTube, right? And I went down a rabbit hole. What even sparked that interest even more, it's the YouTube channel, Top 5 Unknowns. And I was like, damn, I love this. I'll be in the car just listening to it. Anybody ride with me? Like, hey, we listen to this true crime. I ain't about to do none of this to you unless you try me. I love being knowledgeable, right? And then I find out, shout out to all the women out there. They were doing the murder and makeup. I didn't even know that it was women out here doing makeup, mystery, and murder. But when I saw it, I'm like, man, these girls are dope. Now, again, I can't do no makeup. Shout out to Bailey. I came across Brittany Station. Let me tell you something. I like Brittany Station. I always got to give a shout out to Black Girl Magic. Me and her have a similar personality. I think in another life, Brittany's kind of like my big sister. She likes Zodiac stuff too, and that girl always cracks me up. So if y'all like murder, mystery, and makeup, make sure y'all check them out too. Here at Talez from the Crib, we talk about all things true crime, murder, mystery, and mayhem without the makeup. Now listen, there ain't no shade. No shade. No shade. To any of my content creators that do true crime and makeup. However, lil' bro can't do no makeup. If I did, that'd be the real true crime. We do horror happy hour here, so get your libations ready. I'm gonna get my beverage of choice while y'all get y'all's, alright? So, yes, just to let y'all know, yes, I have wine glasses, but while I'm telling this tale, it's going up in my red. There we go, big baby. Solo cup. And I don't know if you caught the accent by now, but yes, I am from the South, Houston, Texas, like Beyonce. Enough about me, enough about this long intro. Let's go ahead and get down to the story, all right? This is Halloween week, and as y'all see all the cheesy decorations behind me. Picture it, Houston, Texas. Shout out to H-Town. Wait, I don't think I should be shouting out H-Town, because this is not a good thing to shout out H-Town. Rewind, Ali. This is the story about a.k.a. the original Candyman. I'm only gonna say it one time. Black people, y'all know we don't play about that. That was what they dubbed that man name. Also, I like to call him the man that fucked up Halloween, all right? Now, pictured Houston, Texas. October 19, 1944, Ronald O'Bryan was born. October 19, why is it ringing a bell? Oh, Lord, I'm gonna feel like crap. Y'all, October 19th is my big brother's birthday. Listen, charge it to the libation. That's my mind. All right, so we move. I love all things Zodiac. So that makes him, October 19th makes him a Libra. Yeah, shout outs to all y'all indecisive Libras. Y'all can't ask the Libras nothing. You can't give them choices or options, baby. It's going to take them all day and then some, man. Robert was an optician, a God-fearing man. He was a deacon in the church. You know, he sang in the choir, all that good stuff. You know, upstanding citizen, so they would speak, right? So, he was an optician. I think I'm saying that right. Optician. Be confused with optometrist. Yes, they both specialize in eye care. However, the optometrist is basically someone who has went to college and specialized in being an optometrist. He was an optician at TSO. TSO stands for Texas State Optical in Sharpstown Mall. Now, the crazy thing is that as a kid, I grew up in Sharpstown. It was the suburbs then. And guess what? My family eye doctor was. TSO, Texas State Optical in Sharpstown Mall. What are the odds, right? I don't know if y'all been to the eye doctor, and if not, you damn sure need to go. It's October 31st, 1974, in case y'all know what Halloween is, because it's always October 31st. But anyway, it was raining that whole night, but it was still like lightly drizzling. Y'all know, like, perfect Halloween weather, right? Well, they were sitting down having family dinner. It was Ronald, it was his son Timothy, who was 8 years old. It was his daughter Elizabeth, who was 5, his friend Jim Bates, and I believe Jim Bates' son, right? So they were all just sitting there, just sitting down eating a good meal. I don't know what they was eating, maybe some shake and bake or whatever.
Shake and bacon, shake and bacon.
So they finished eating. The kids had on their costume. They were ready. Hit around and he put on his work coat. Why? Don't ask me. I don't know. Why would you want your clothes to smell like mildew is beyond me. However, keep going. So him and Jim, they went out and they took the kids trick-or-treating. So they took Timothy, they took his little sister, and they took Jim's son. So there they go. So they're out there knocking, going to different parts in the neighborhood. But they wanted to go to Deer Park. Now, mind you, back then, Deer Park was a really, really, really like upscale suburb, like the kind that passed out the king size candy bars, right? And I always said as a kid that, you know what, when I get older, I'm passing out king size candy bars, right? And I do. And so it picked up and started raining. They only went down 2 streets. So they're going like a typical regular day, right? So they get to one house. They knocking on the door. Now, mind you, the lights are off, right? So the kids got impatient, which kids normally would. I mean, who want to stay at a house when you're trying to get all this candy? So they knocking at the door. So Ronald said, well, y'all go ahead and go up there with Mr. Jim, Uncle Jim, whatever they want to call him, and go get some more candy, right? So Deacon Ronald comes back and he says that, hey, y'all should have waited. He comes out with 5 big old, like 22-inch pixie sticks, right? Matter of fact, I ain't seen none of them pixie sticks in a long time. Anyway, so he said, listen, y'all should have waited. Y'all shouldn't have been so impatient. Got the pixie sticks. And he said, and I quote, he said this, and this is what Jim said allegedly. He said, man, you got some rich neighbors. They giving out things like this, end quote, loosely. So, they got the big pixie sticks, they going crazy. So the pixie sticks he gives them to all the 3 kids, which includes Jim's child, Timothy, and Elizabeth. Those are 3 pixie sticks. Then he gave one to give back to Jim's daughter, who stayed behind. She didn't go trick-or-treating with them for whatever reason. I guess she wanted to just stay home. She wasn't feeling that. And Ronald gave another pixie stick to a boy who they saw trick-or-treating, who also went to the same church, all right? So that's what he did with the pixie sticks, all right? So all 5 of them are gone, right? They get home. And like most kids, they want, they begging their parents, hey, can I have some candy? Can I have some chocolate? Can I have this? And Ronald said, okay, y'all can have a piece of candy. Now, I guess in the 70s, kids were a lot more obedient than in the 90s, because let me tell you something. I'll be sneaking. Yes, I'm born in the hood, raised in the suburbs, so I'll be sneaking by candy eating. I'll be sneaking Mickey Way. Snickers. Real quick. So my mama or daddy couldn't even see me eating it. But anyway, yes, in the 70s, kids were a lot more obedient than in the 90s, because let me tell you something. I'll be sneaking. Yes, I'm born in the hood, raised in the suburbs, so I'll be sneaking by candy eating. I'll be sneaking Mickey Way. Snickers. Real quick. So my mama or daddy couldn't even see me eating it. But anyway, get home, you always ask your parents, hey, can I please have at least one candy? Then your parents say, yeah, you can have 1 piece, right? So Ronald wanted to be a cool dad. He said, yeah, y'all can go ahead and have a piece of candy, right? He let them pick out whatever they picked out. And of course, somebody, I don't know why they picked that, why little Timothy wanted to pick out that pixie stick. Because even though I like those pixie sticks growing up as a kid, I wanted chocolate. Teacher's on. So Timmy picks up the pixie. Timmy picks up. Y'all bear with me. Timmy picks up the pixie stick, right? He says he can't open it. He's having a hard time opening it. So for whatever reason, it had a huge stapler in there, and his dad had helped him like take out the staple. I don't know if he had like a lot of staples and candies in the 70s. I ain't never seen. That's right, double negative. I've never seen any pictures of staples in the candy. It don't make sense. And maybe, I don't know, life was different in the 70s. I don't know. Maybe they had staples in the candy. But everything else from what I see, I didn't see nothing. And my aunts and uncles and my parents ain't never said they had staplers in their candy either. So yeah, that wasn't normal, but hey. But anyway, so, Ronald being a good dad, he takes it out. He was loosening it in the palm of his hands to loosen it up. Because, sometimes the pixie does all the sugar gets stuck together, right? So he was doing that. And then, Timmy takes some of the pixie dust. He like, as soon as he eats it, he like, Dad, this tastes kind of bitter. His dad said, well, here's some Kool-Aid. Dad, pour some Kool-Aid and get that bitter taste out of his mouth. Now, why do you want to give your kids pixie dust? Because that's straight sugar. Pixie dust is straight sugar. And then he got him some Kool-Aid to wash it down. And now, why you want to give your kids pixie sticks and Kool-Aid at bedtime again? I guess y'all ain't never been around no kids that's really like full with sugar, cause the last thing you want to give them, and if my hypothesis is right, it says that October 31st, 1974 was on a Thursday. So that means they still had school. Cause see, in Texas, unless some things change, if Halloween is not a holiday observed to where you be able to get out of school, right? So if Halloween's in the middle of the week, guess what? You going to class the next day. He wants his kids to be wide up, right? It's your kids. You do what you want to do. So after he gives him the Kool-Aid, moments later, little Timmy ran into the restroom throwing up. So Ronald and his wife, mom and dad, they're like, what's going on? Why is my child throwing up? Like, what's going on? Then, as good parents, they're checking on him. He's throwing up, he's shaking, he's going to convulsions and everything. They call the ambulance, call the paramedics to come. So the paramedics come. By the time they get there, little Timmy is already limp. And unfortunately, en route to the hospital, little Timmy is pronounced dead. Bam. It's a sad moment. I mean, he was 8 years old. He died. And he died as just basically doing what kids do, trick or treat. Now, mind you, the myth of like all of this, people doing crazy stuff with candy was even pre all of this, right? So they were already like on guard, but now it's like, damn, somebody really is out here in these Houston streets or Deer Park streets or wherever they went. It was adjacent to Houston, poisoning these kids with candy. So everybody is in an uproar. So it was Bill Lanier, who was a detective. That was his first year being a detective for the Pasadena Police Department, which is not too far, for less than a year. And when he caught this case, it was his first murder investigation. Detective Lanier had said Ronald O'Bryan, who 2 weeks earlier celebrated his 30th birthday, he said was a big guy, but he talks soft. He said almost kind of feminine, but he had a real hang dog look. I don't know what real hang dog. I mean, if y'all don't know, let me know in the comments. But he said when he arrived that Ronald wasn't crying, he wasn't bawling. But there was no reason to believe that he was involved because, again, people deal with death differently. So the man could have been in shock. But you always heard stories about all these, somebody crazy doing something even vindictive to the kids. So they didn't think anything of it. So anyway, several other police detectives say, hey, no, we got to get these pixie sticks off the streets. Like, they out here, they killing these kids. We need to go to everybody who may have had one. So, bam, they knocking on the door. They snatch a candy. Give me that. I know those kids were hotter than fish grease. Because, baby, I would have been if I couldn't get my Halloween candy. So, they're snatching. They snatching all the candy, right? Incidentally, one of the kids had fallen asleep holding a pixie stick. And because it had a huge stapler in there, the little boy couldn't get it open, which really like worked out into his favor. But he fell asleep holding it, which is also, I guess, parents were a lot more trusting in the 70s because in the 90s, our parents like, that bad come with me. Come on. Because I know, like, as kids, we're going to eat all the candy. The cops, they recovered all the candies, and Elizabeth, Timothy's little sister, she didn't eat hers. So once the police had confiscated all the pixie sticks, the lab tests had discovered that all of the pixie sticks had at least 2 inches of potassium cyanide in them. So they're like, what the is going on, right? The police went to everybody's house, letting them know. Word was out. Not only did the police come, yanked everybody in the neighborhood candy. Parents, they just started, other parents from the neighborhood or even other parts of Houston, they were going to the police department just dropping off their candy. Like, ain't nobody getting candy. You know, the kids were, kids, they're kind of selfish. Some of the kids were pissed off, like, oh man, like, why just have to ruin Halloween? But the parents said, like, hey, we can always get back more candy. So it was in the best interest, right? After they took the candy, after this incident, and like I said, this happened in 1974. And I've told y'all before, if you haven't picked up on my accent, I am born and bred in Houston, Texas. So not only like the couple of years after that in Houston, was it an issue as far as like everybody being scared of their kids having poisonous candy, like it's like years later, even when I was a kid, and even now, y'all still hearing the story. Y'all ain't even in Houston, and y'all heard the same story. Somebody put razor blade. Now, even though there's no documented cases of that,
nearby towns have been suggesting that there be alternatives to trick-or-treating on Halloween. The parents say they are not willing to accept that. They want Halloween stopped altogether. They say it's simply not worth it.
Deacon Ronald O'Bryan, because he was a deacon at the church house, he got pissed off because he had wrote a special song for Lil Timmy. After he passed, it debuted on the news. He was pissed off that some of his relatives didn't tune in to watch it. Now, granted, I get it. Sometimes, because I've seen some people say that, well, why would you be pissed off? I think it's understandable whether you agree with or not agree with. You'll probably be pissed off if it's your child and you grieving and you're going through, hey, I want you to see us celebrating the life of my son. Mind you, he didn't show any emotions. When the police came, they said that he was really like, even killed, even tempered, but he was pissed off because the people, his family members, his kinfolk, didn't want to listen to his song on the news, right? And over the next couple of days, the police, they trying to get down to the get down. They trying to see what's going on. So they go and they ask Ronald O'Bryan questions. Okay, so show us the house where you got the pixie sticks at, the poison pixie sticks. All of a sudden, Ronald starts saying, well, I can't remember or I don't recall. 2 and 2 are making 4. So the detectives, they were like, hey, we ain't buying that, man. Listen, we understand that, you have suffered a loss, that you may be suffering trauma, but we need to know who this individual is to get him up out these streets. So magically, he went back to the house. Now, mind you, I told y'all earlier within the story, they only went down 2 streets, right? So, on that rainy day. Oh, he said, he had an epiphany. So, he took him back to the house. And then he said, well, I don't remember anything but while the lights were off. And everybody know damn well you don't go to nobody's house for no trick-or-treat candy, especially as no adult knocking on the door. Most of the people turn off their lights. So anyway, all he said that he recalled that the lights were off, and then the person with a hairy arm passed out 5 pixie sticks. All right, so the police say, okay, what is the house at? So he said, oh, it was this house. So he picks the house, right? Well, they go to the house, and guess what? The house belonged to a man named Courtney Melvin, who was a air traffic controller at Hobby P Airport. Now, for those who don't know, Hobby P, we have 2 airports here in Houston. Hobby is the one closer. Actually, Hobby is located in the city, and Bush is like towards 4 out of the city. Anyways, if you want to pick somebody up from the airport, you want to pick them up at Hobby because it's a lot closer. Yeah, but anyway, that's where Mr. Melvin worked there, right? So he said again that, when he went to the house, the lights were off, and all he knew is that an arm reached out. It was a hairy arm, and they provided 5 pixie sticks. Well, this to get you got you. The night of Halloween, Mr. Melvin was working down to the airport until 11 p.m. Melvin was not at home. It was only his wife and his daughter. And neither one of them had no hairy arms. None of them. None of them. His daughter, I think, was about like 14 at the time. But even she was probably like 25, 26. The wife nor the daughter had hairy arms. So they ruled them out. So who with the hairy arms passed out the pixie stick? That's right. So he was at work, and he had not only was he at work, but he had 200 people vouch for him saying that he was at work. So all this ain't looking too good for Deacon Ronald O'Brien. So, but he kept maintaining, like the police started interrogating him. So it wasn't an old boy who house you said it was. He allegedly said gave out the giant pixie sticks. They already ruled him out. He had an anti-alibi. Like, who else was it? Unless it was somebody else in the house. Now, as the plot thickens, the police were saying, well, you know what, this seems kind of odd. So we didn't arrest this man because they went to Mr. Melvin Joy, but they arrested him up at that airport in front of everybody. So you already know he was embarrassed. So I don't care what kind of, me being innocent rather, I'll be happy. I mean, I ain't kill nobody, you know, I ain't try to poison the children. That ain't me. So the police decide to dig a little deeper. So they start saying, let's start 2 and 2 and make 4. Something seems strange up in the neighborhood. So they go to digging and probing and researching. And guess what they found out? Ronald O'Brien was in debt. He was in debt $100,000.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no! Take the equivalent of the debt in today's time due to inflation in 2020. There was about like close to $100,000 in 1974 would be equivalent to like $520,000 now. They found out that he was in debt. The house was in foreclosure. He had taken out numerous of loans. They was about to repossess his car, and he was at the job stealing. He was at Texas State Optical stealing. Now, I don't know what an optician would really be stealing. I mean, I don't know if they had contacts back then, but even if he was stealing contacts and bifocals and glasses, I don't know how much you could sell them for a black market. But anyway, they said he was about to get fired anyway for stealing. Then the police kept on digging and searching and probing. Guess what they found out? I don't know if I told y'all this part because, listen, this horror happy hour has definitely turned in tipsy tales from the crib, right? But anyways, now, Lil Timothy died October 31st, 1974. We know that night. His father, Ronald, called the insurance company inquiring about the money at 9 o'clock in the morning. Yep. Trifling. Tied with bleach. Okay? So, and you know, the detectives, they're finding all this out, and they're finding this really, really odd. Okay? So you got these money troubles. Then you call them inquiring about the insurance policy, like you ain't even grieved yet. So you calling, contacting them in regards to the money, right? They got him, they interrogating him, like, you know, what's going on, man? Come on, we got all this evidence. Be real. Tell us what's going on. He maintained his innocence. Like, look, it ain't me. It was the Boogie Woogie Man. It was a Boogie Woogie Man in a house with the lights off. And he maintained that story. The detective said he felt as though that he was about to get a confession from Deacon Ronald, but I guess at the last minute or whatnot, he changed his mind. So the police get the warrant, and then they're starting to investigate. One detective
inventoried his property. In his property, I found an adding machine tape. It had all his bills written out next to the numbers. On an adding machine tape, he had added them all up, and it came to almost the exact amount of what he stood to collect on the insurance. He was paying off all his bills.
Things don't look kind of suspicious for Deacon Ronald. When they had the search warrant for Deacon Ronald's house, that they found scissors. Hold on, wait for the get you got you. Wait for the get you got you. They found scissors with traces of cyanide on the scissors, potassium cyanide. In the Deacon house. With the Deacon house, I hope they ain't use none of like the offering or no love offering money to like purchase none of this stuff, man, because that'll be messed up. Because that's what you're doing with the church money.
Oh, have mercy.
You're going to jail.
In 1975, I don't want to butcher this woman's name, but I believe I'm saying it right, and y'all would, I'll probably mess up names too. You know, we get look lost in the sauce. I want to say Daneen O'Brien, who is Deacon Ronald O'Brien's wife. She insisted I didn't know nothing about this. I didn't know my so-called husband, the deacon, took out insurance policies on our kids. I knew nothing of this. And baby, Miss Mamas was adamant about this because she said, baby, I don't want no parts of, not only do I want no parts of this, I don't even want to be with this man no more. She divorced him soon after testifying, like, baby, Miss Mama said, no, I ain't having it. I ain't with it. I don't get down with the get down, baby. I'm divorcing this man ASAP. And she wasn't talking about Rocky either.
Get your shit, and get out!
Can you blame him? Like, I think that's fair. Like, who would want to stay with someone that possibly murdered their child? That all suspicions and everything leads back to you murdering your child. And not only did you try to murder your child, you tried to murder your daughter. And then on top of that, y'all remember I said it was 5 pixie sticks. He gave them all out. He tried to murder the neighbor's kids too. Come on, Deacon Ronald. What the commandment say? Thou shalt not kill. Damn. Honor thy neighbor. Like, damn, you doing both. You doing both. The summer beforehand, he had called a friend who worked basically in the chemical industry, inquiring about potassium cyanide, asking how much would be fatal enough to kill a human being. Right. The things that make you go, He went to purchase the cyanide, the potassium cyanide, and he ended up leaving because they said that old boy got frustrated and got pissed off that when he found out that they only had 5 pounds, which was kind of odd to the owner of the store, because he like, hey, first of all, why are you so, if you really need it, and there's other reasons why you may need it, let's say you trying to kill off, like, I don't know, animals that are getting into like whatever. The trial happened, he couldn't say he per se remembered that it was Deacon Ronald, but what he could say was that it was a man in a blue work coat that gave very much doctor tease, right? Who else would wear lab coats like that? The optician. Not to be confused with the optometrist. Shout out to all my opticians and optometrists out there. Also, the detectives found out that Deacon Ronald was up there at the community college. You know, he was getting his degree. Don't ask me in what y'all, because I don't know, they didn't specify. I would say maybe optometry, but maybe not. I don't know. But he would ask his professor questions such as, what is more lethal, cyanide or some other type of poison? And of course, the professor, like, I mean, one time I think, okay, I get it. Then when you keep repeatedly asking the same things about poison, it's gonna be like, that's gonna be a red flag. Like, hey, you gonna make a mental note of that. Oh boy, right there, he keep asking me about cyanide and poison people. Let me keep my eye on him. It is June 3rd, 1975 in Houston, Texas. And the jury, they find good old Deacon Ronald O'Brien guilty on 1 count of capital murder and 4 counts of attempted murder. And they did that within 46 minutes. Now, within 71 minutes, they basically came to a consensus that he needs to be put to death by lethal injection. Now, listen, this right here, I'm not asking if you for the death penalty, if you against the death penalty. All I'm saying is they came to a consensus and they want to put him to death. Now, again, I don't want nobody all in the comments saying, oh, they shouldn't have did this. Oh, they should have did this. Baby, I didn't make this pizza. I just delivered it to you, okay? While he was in jail in Huntsville, Texas, the prisoners, they was trying to whoop up on good old, well, not good old, low down Deacon Ronald O'Brien, right? They don't take too kindly to child murderers in the prison, especially your child. So, like, he always had to be under watch and everything. Like, they would literally, anytime they had opportunity, they were basically trying to end his life. So, you know, so he's separated from the general population. But anyway, you fast forward. So of course, you know, after he's found guilty, the lawyer's gonna do their job. I know people are like, they get pissed off. Like, how can you do this? Listen, they still gotta eat. It is what it is. However, through all their tireless efforts, all of the appeals were denied. They weren't trying to hear. Nobody was trying to hear.
That's too damn bad!
Then they even tried to come with Deacon and said, well, hey, I'll even donate my eyes. Because, you know, he was an optician. I'll donate my eyes to science for research. I'll be a donor after I die for research for cataracts. Please. I guess he thought they was going to give some sympathy. And I'm like,
Well, good luck with that.
like, don't nobody want to research your eyes? Don't nobody want to dissect your eyes? For what? That's not going to help you. Not that, but anyway, okay. I guess it would. Maybe so. He thought so, right? March 31st, 1984. So probably like 10 years after he killed little Timmy, right? So he wanted his last meal, and they had this in there. They gave it to me, so I'm gonna give it to y'all. He wanted his last meal to be a steak well done, which that alone right there to me, anybody that orders a steak well done is guilty. Well, I'm just joking. I'm joking. Nah, I'm just serious. Why would you want to ruin a perfectly good steak well done? And it's your last meal. I like mine medium rare. But anyway. So, he had that and a cream pie. And not the nasty cream pie. It ain't that type of pork like the dessert cream pie, right? A Boston cream pie, I'm sorry. This is the irony in this whole situation, y'all. Back then, keep in mind, this was the 80s, so I guess it was kind of new. It was new then. The lethal injection of cocktail that they were going to use, get the irony of this, had cyanide in it. Like, isn't that foreshadowing what you used to kill your son has now killed you?
And isn't it ironic? Don't you think?
Bam. Now, remember I told y'all that the people in the jailhouse was not fun. Hold on, this is my dog. Can you stop? Damn. Of course, you know, when you kill a kid, baby, you have protesters. So it was like 300 or plus outside of the Huntsville jail. They had signs, they picketing, and they up there just yelling. Like, they really, really want to see this man suffer. And now they're yelling. And yeah, it's really not funny, but it was kind of funny to me. But the whole while, they trying to get ready to execute this man and inject this man. Somebody, trick or treat. Trick or treat. Trick or treat. Hey, trick or treat. Now do this, blame it on this. All right. So they out there, they mad, trick or treat. And not only that, they throwing, and there was other protesters who were against the death penalty. Those protesters started throwing candy at them too. Trick or treat. Trick or treat. Like, forget your views. Trick or treat. He deserves to die. All that, right? So his last words were, he was declared dead at 12:48 a.m. That was the tale of who the press deemed, I'm not gonna say it, black man ain't gonna say it, man that effed up Halloween. They got their own opinion. If you ask me, did y'all ask me? I think y'all did. I think he did it. Listen, we have made it to the end of the video. Yay! And if you have stayed with me thus far, thank you. This is my first video. I promise you, I'm gonna try to always get better and better and better. Thank y'all. I was gonna wait until my camera came in the mail, but I said, no, I got this good old iPhone. I just bought it, so why not utilize it? And then everybody says there's never a perfect time to start. If you have liked what you have heard and you have heard what you have liked, not necessarily like, because we don't like, we like peace over here. We like to participate in peace. If you feel as though that you were informed by the story about the man who Halloween, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And I don't mind if you like, share, comment. If you just enjoyed the libations here at the crib with Dr. Savage. Last but not least, hey, y'all tell me if y'all find a story or it's somebody that y'all want me to do or even redo. I'm down to redo some things. Pull up a chair in them comments and just go ahead and type. Say, hey, Dr. Savage. Blah, 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 blah. I do my best. I do plan to engage with my subscribers, hopefully fans, if I do make it Now ain't no dude, we claiming it. Now, I'm going to try to make sure that I always have different content from content that's being provided. But if not, oops, all berries. I mean, hey, we might do some horror movie reviews. Now I can't do makeup, but I can do DIY. I can do some DIY stuff. I can cook. I can clean. I don't never smell like onion ring unless, you know, just got the gym. But always stay ready so you won't have to get ready.